Believe to excel.
It is 2 minutes just after 2 o'clock, Movement Makers. And of course, it is Business Wrap on a Monday. As we do every single Monday, we ensure that we are really shining on spotlight on conversations that really matter. And on today's Business Wrap, we're shining a light on SMMEs doing impactful work like Contract SA. And they offer leadership coaching, agile training, DEI, and resilience programs that really do help businesses grow with purpose. And their mission, with that said, is to build a more humane economy through people. And when we talk about that, we're even talking about people first when it comes to development as well. And they've worked with major clients, but their heart truly lies in uplifting small businesses. A rep from the team is here joining us today. A very unique approach when it comes to business. We've got Chaital, ladies and gentlemen, Chaital Harry, who is a market lead contract at Contract Johannesburg, and she's in the studio today, and we're going to have a very interesting conversation about this one. So I always like to say, give me your ear, because this is a conversation worth having. Chaital, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
I am very good. Happy Monday. Is this a Monday? You know, sometimes you got to check if it's a Monday or not. With all these public holidays, it's been taking us, sideways, so to speak. Look, let's talk a little bit and get into it in this one. Let's give a quick overview of Contract SA and what drew you to that focus of SMMEs, especially, and particularly wanting to develop SMMEs.
Thanks so much. Yeah, so Contract is actually a German-South African business.
Okay.
We've got a company in Germany. That's where we started. And we've been in South Africa for about 20 years now, in the Western Cape mostly. And we've recently opened up our Joburg branch over the last 2 years and are growing our focus from a Joburg side as well as into an African side. What we do is really to partner with businesses across all industries and sizes, and to support them in navigating their biggest people-related and business challenges. Because we think that all business challenges really stem from people and how we approach it as people.
100%.
And that's our purpose, to inspire a humane economy. In terms of the SMME market, I think that we really see, and with our commitment to inspiring a humane economy, we see that currently we are so much in need of the support from more growth in the SMME space, from focus on SMMEs to both drive growth in our economy, but also to help to close the unemployment gap. And with that, being able to be in that space of looking at the impact that SMMEs can have, which is so undervalued and undermined at times, is really where our passion comes from.
Let's talk about the more blended learning, right? Tell us more about your blended learning and also the coaching programs that are available. And also, I think, to double on this one, why they're so game-changing.
Great question. So we really love our blended learning, and basically, just to summarize what the blended learning for us is.
Take us through it.
It's a combination of really impactful, personal, curated, self-directed learning, so e-learning essentially, but really high quality, because we know there's so much out there at the moment in terms of e-learning, and it's accessible, but not always coming from that very personal, tackling your own challenges, really relatable kind of approach. So we really pride ourselves in the quality of our e-learning. And combined with that, we bring groups together either virtually or in person to still have that social learning aspect. Because e-learning can be amazing, but really lonely and not as motivating.
That's true.
And why this works, particularly for SMMEs, but I think for everyone, because there's so much going on for people at the moment, and people are busy. Time is precious. So having opportunities to kind of have a blend where you're not stuck for 2 days in a learning space, but you can take some time to maybe have an hour once a week, and then you block out maybe half a day where you come together and still get together, share conversations, share experiences, talk about challenges and the practical application of the theory in sessions with other peers, either in your organization or across different organizations. That's what really stands out in terms of the blended learning approach, that you're not coming into a learning space and it feels like a classroom and it's just a whole lot of theory, But when you do come together with your peers, it's that space to tackle the real challenges, to think through how do we take this learning and apply it? How do I practically put this into my day-to-day application? And the coaching, I mean, if there is one thing I've seen throughout my career, is that every leader needs a coach.
That's true.
And especially SMMEs. You know, if you are leading a department or leading a business, you really need that additional support because it gets hectic.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need a soundboard, someone to think through challenges, someone to affirm that you know how to solve the problems you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And that's really the fundamental aspect in terms of coaching.
You also, I mean, this is probably where the agile training also comes in specifically. How do you tailor the leadership and agile training specifically for SMMEs, for SMME environments?
Yeah. So with our agile training, we're not specialists in the technical side, the IT side of agile methodology, but rather the principles and the philosophies around agile. So it's that really coming quickly to changing things, looking at what does the market need immediately. And I think for small businesses, there is no time to waste when it comes to putting your product out there, getting your message out there, even if it's not perfect. So we support the mindset to tackle that, to get to things as quickly as possible, to get feedback as quickly as possible, to be open to responding to the changes in market, in your environment, to look at what is going on, what is the need right now, even if this is my passion in my business. If it's not needed right now, how do I blend it together a little bit with what is needed and bring that in? So that's what we look at through our agile training. And the leadership training overall is really to support leaders. And I would say we're not so much focused on, even though we bring it in, all of the technical sides of entrepreneurship, because there is a lot of out there with regards to that. You can easily find resources for it. Where we see a big gap is, aside from the technical, what about how I'm showing up? How am I making an impact? Who do I want to be in this business? How do I want to grow this business? What's important for me? How do I have the confidence to tackle the challenges, even with growth? And growth in business is inspiring and amazing and terrifying at the same time. So it's tackling all of that. That's our focus in the leadership development.
You mentioned something earlier on, and you said in your years of being here, you've realized that leaders need coaches as well. And it really does sound like you've also gotten a really good perspective to see how, this has changed the game in general, but also just to see the start to the end of SMMEs. Let's talk about that. Maybe if you can share a success story that's involving a small business that you've worked with recently, that you sit and you beam with pride when you look at it.
Absolutely. I'll actually just share two briefly. So the one is just linked to the blended learning. And this is a small IT organization, and I think it's a big industry at the moment in the tech space. You know, there's lots of changes, everyone's interested, lots going on there. Starting out small in that really rapid growth phase. So a tiny team looking at, we know we can grow, we know we have to expand, there's so much potential and opportunity. How do we reach this impact, and how do we set our business up? So we set up a blended learning journey for them, together looked at different topics around leadership, around navigating change, building confidence, all of those kinds of things that laid some foundational frame, but also coming together and shaping the culture as they grow, which is something that we often forget because we get so caught up in the technical side of the growth. And then we're like, oh, the culture is not what we'd like it to be once we're at a certain point. So it's kind of building that as you go. And it was amazing to be with a group of leaders thinking through this, looking at how they can inspire people, how do they support growth. And the other thing was, culture is so important to keep people, and in such a competitive industry, it's very easy for people to move around and get poached. And,
yes.
You know, so if you're not looking at it, you're going to lose key people very quickly. So to support them in that, and coming out at the end, well, the end of our work with them, but obviously not the end, because they're still growing and doing amazing things. But coming out at the end where the leaders could see the shifts in culture and speak about
I love that.
how people are with each excuse me.
It's okay. It's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are right now talking to Chaital Harry, who is a market lead at Contract Johannesburg, and she really is here to talk to you, small businesses, SMMEs, about the impactful work that they are doing, and obviously offering leadership and coaching and agile training as well as DEI. It's okay. I'm hoping you're okay. We'll just give her a moment in just a bit. And of course, we're talking about how they help small businesses to grow with purpose, and their mission is to build a more humane economy through people first development. And that's very important, working with those SMMEs. So in just a bit, we'll continue our conversation with her.
AB Drive, weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. Move with us on Sonke Radio.
It is 14 minutes after 2 o'clock, and she's okay. She's okay, ladies and gentlemen, okay? It has happened to all of us. It happens to the best of us, where you go on radio and that's what happens. And you're okay, right? So just so they know that I care, because I definitely do. And we were obviously talking about the success stories that came with seeing the program and how it worked. With that said, let's talk about DEI. Right. What is, firstly, DEI for those who don't know, and what the impact is, and the resilience training also that, the teams have taken on for a culture and performance purposes as well?
Yeah, DEI is actually my big passion topic. So I really am very focused and committed to working on DEI. DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion, and also belonging. But I see belonging as a product of DEI. But sometimes you'll hear the acronym DEIB as well. So the inclusion of all of them. So we do work in supporting all sized organizations with looking at how they are showing up in an inclusive manner. And I think this is really such a crucial topic, even for small businesses to consider, to think about their impact. And I always say, in the South African economy, for even at a really small business level, you employ one person and you're changing a whole family structure.
Absolutely. Yes.
Not just one person's life. And we have so much work to do in that space. And it makes it challenging. It's it's a topic that really challenges
It's
I'm
okay.
so sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. You can take your time on this one. I know what it does. It gets a little bit tricky towards the end. Thank you so much, Gia, for that.
Yeah, so, with large organizations, it's a challenging topic for them to even look at where to start. So when we work with smaller organizations, it's one of the things we say, don't lose sight of. Start thinking about these things now. How do you want to show up in the economy? What's the impact you want to have in the broader side, not only from a BBBEE perspective, meeting your social responsibility aspects, but genuinely, who do you want to be in your fiber as an organization? Who do you want to be as a leader? How do we treat people with kindness, respect, show up for them, and have that people first focused? And that's the essence of what DEI is.
Yeah.
Our work really gets intense. It gets super emotional because we approach DEI.
I can imagine.
Not from a theoretical perspective, but really from a heart space. So what is my story? How has this impacted me, the way I show up? Because all of us come with our stories. And how that links to resilience is we have to be able to navigate so many different things as things are changing rapidly in our market. I mean, if you look at the increase in AI and the fear that brings and the approach to that, we're having to rapidly build up our skill sets, look at new approaches, new ways of working and thinking, and to let go of so much, to unlearn so much. And it takes really a lot of strength from people. So building up resilience is really important. So we work with people at an individual level as well as teams and leaders to look at how can we do that?
Yeah. And you also mentioned the triple BEE part there and the social responsibility of it. And that's also just as important because it really does ensure inclusivity in the services and ownership part, right? Let's talk about the contributing factor that you guys have in triple BEE level 2 in particular, and how this ensures the part of inclusivity that we're talking about.
Great. So for us, we're actually a level 2 contributor because of our women-owned side. So we technically don't have to fill in the all the aspects of the scorecard in order to meet that level. However, we still do a lot of social responsibility. So we have various programs that we work on to support this, and we really try and use our skill set as much as possible.
Sure.
Because we're small, we don't always have the funds and the cash flow to support large-scale donations and projects in that way, but we can offer our time and our skill set. So we run a number of programs, and one is incredible in the entrepreneurship space. It's in Cape Town. We work with a lady who's founded an organization called HUMANE, and she supports entrepreneurs in one of the townships in developing skill sets, and then we support in everything I've been talking about with a blended learning journey as well. So we offer that free of charge to a group of female entrepreneurs. We also run something with a technical development space in Cape Town as well, and there we support young people in the technical space.
Okay.
And we bring in practical soft skills and how do I show up as I start to work? How do I apply for roles? So really going into that space. And a third focus for us is what we call our Contract Academy, which is funded through our group of companies. And we offer to young graduates from universities across Joburg, Cape Town, and Karlsruhe in Germany, where one of our offices in Germany is. And we put together a whole program for them, learning about consulting skills, learning about facilitation, and how to just communicate and show up as they enter into their first jobs. Basically.
You work a lot with SMMEs and you've worked extensively with them as well. What are the biggest challenges that you've seen SMMEs face this time? And I say this time because times are so different now, right, in business also. So how does Contract SA also overcome this and help these SMMEs to overcome them?
So I think there's different challenges. And if you look at the global market, the biggest challenge that SMMEs face is the rapid change. In environments, in economies, and the uncertainty that people are facing. I guess that's across all sized businesses, but especially for SMMEs where they have different kinds of financial challenges, market-related challenges, product challenges, not as many resources available to quickly tackle the changes. In South Africa, I think that some big challenges that I have seen are at times lack of knowledge around where to access resources. There are a lot of resources available for SMMEs, probably never enough anyway, but there are financial resources, there's information resources. Many businesses are not sure where to access them, who to talk to, how to find this information to set them up for success. And then because many small businesses literally start with a one-woman or one-man show in their home trying to make a living as a need and rather as a passion, they're starting with zero resources. So many start on their phones as a tool and then don't know how to set themselves up, how to market themselves, how to position themselves. And those are some of the things we support with, and we don't always have the full database of resources, but we can provide some information on where to go to. But we can support them in thinking through, am I doing myself justice in setting up my business in this way? And what do I need to do? How do I challenge myself to take bold steps? To invest in myself, maybe not always financially because the resources aren't available, but how do I set up other things, do little things to build up some resources to put into my business, as an example. So it's getting started. I think those are some of the biggest things in the South African market.
Yeah. Right now, in your perspective, right, how would you say you measure success? And when we talk about SMMEs as well, and knowing that these investment trainings are working, in your scope, how would you say this has been a successful one?
It's such a tricky question.
Right.
Because measuring success is always
It's relative.
different.
Yes.
And so we work with that relativity. We would first at the start, set up what is it that you want right now.
Sure.
And really get down to how do we support that level of success. So for some, if we're doing coaching for some leaders in SMMEs, it really is about, I've spoken about it, but building up confidence. And that's a really hard one to measure. It's not as easy in terms of financials or business growth or anything like that. But then it's a check with the individual. What has your challenge been? How have you seen this growth?
Sure.
And then for some, it really is the more practical side. It is looking at financial growth. It's looking at growth in teams. So we would set up measures at the start of an intervention, track them throughout an intervention, and then look at the end, where are we? And if we haven't achieved it, what have the challenges been? And often where achievement isn't as visible, it's because of market-related challenges, shift in priorities. So really support the business also in then seeing where is the success for them, and based on the context and the environmental perspective.
In parting shots on this one, what advice would you give to small business owners who are looking to future-proof their operation, especially in a volatile market, right? You were mentioning that this is one of those issues that young people are facing in businesses. What parting shots would you leave them with here?
Invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself.
We
First
we
and
get
foremost.
to that point so late in our journeys, and
Yeah.
often too late, because everything is focused on the growth, on setting up, on the technical side, and those are absolutely so important. So I'm not undermining them, but don't forget that you're the person running the business, and your people, if you're a larger business, your people that are in the business are there showing up, and they also need that additional boost. You need the skill sets to grow with your business. Otherwise, your business can't grow. If you are not challenging yourself, investing in yourself and your people, you're coming at it too late in the journey, and you are missing big potential.
I love that. Very, very insightful conversation that we're having today, ladies and gentlemen. If you just tuned in, you might have missed the conversation, but don't worry, there'll be a quick rewind. Chaital, ladies and gentlemen, Chaital Harry, who's a market lead at Contract Johannesburg, is here and was really, really shining a spotlight for us to let us know on what they offer and the leadership coaching that they offer, agile training, DEI, as well as resilience programs that really do help you grow with purpose. Social media handles for anybody who does want to, use this initiative to sort of propel themselves or even get information as well.
You can find us on LinkedIn, Contract South Africa, and you could connect with me on LinkedIn, Chaital Harry, as well.
I love that. Thank you so much, Chaital. I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful day today. What an insightful one and a beautiful way to end Youth Month. Business Wrap, ladies and gentlemen, and Chaital Harry, who's market lead at Contract Johannesburg, was here to give us a bit of that insight. Thank you. Hope you have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
A wonderful world of more. It's just a few